emotion of mankind is fear, and the oldest and strongest kind of fear is fear of the unknown.
The following beings form two categories insofar as much as chaos can be categorized: the outer gods and the great old ones, sometimes just termed the old ones. The outer gods are beings of unfathomable power on par with the deity, and the great old ones are their minions and servants, each a unique demigod who serves its own sinister agenda. The great old ones respect the outer gods and may be seen as heralds or high priests of their greater kind. Great old ones are far less mobile than the outer gods, being localized in some fashion. Indeed, many great old ones are imprisoned, unable to move until some catastrophe occurs that unbinds them. Great old ones, despite some of their limited ability to travel, may influence the wider universe via dreams and mind control, and thus influence may stretch well beyond their prisons to other worlds. The outer gods are poorly understood beings who are said to dwell in the darkness between the stars, a place known as the Dark Tapestry or the Dominion of the Black. What is known is that they are truly ancient and probably predate not only the world of Golarion, but also its more human-like gods. All of these beings wield tremendous power, but their worship is kept secret, fervently guarded by the members of the old cults who venerate them out of a desire for even a taste of eldritch power, though such power often comes at the cost of a sane mind. Those who follow them and draw magical power from their worship are almost always insane, believing that these ancient beings will one day return to unmake the world. For mortals, the differences between the various cults of a god of either category is practically meaningless. The total number of great old ones is unknown, but individual gods are known to include some of the following:
Azathoth, also known as the Daemon Sultan, the primal chaos, the blind, formless chaos that lies behind the stars, and the blind, idiot god. He is the outer god of entropy, madness, and mindless destruction. His alignment is chaotic neutral. His domains include chaos, destruction, madness, sun, and void, with subdomains including catastrophe, dark tapestry, entropy, insanity, nightmare, and stars. His favored weapon is the warhammer. His symbol is an 8-pointed star. He has no sacred animal. His followers consider black and white as sacred colors.
Little is known of the being Azathoth. The blind idiot god roils in the vastness of space, surrounded by lesser gods that sing an insane song to him and trail in his chaotic wake. He is unaware of his worshippers, who injure themselves and each other in their ritualistic rampages. It, for neither he nor she seems appropriate, is described as a huge entity of destruction, a gibbering mass of uncontrollable destructive power as large as the star, at the center of the universe. Azathoth resides in what is known as the Dark Tapestry, the darkness between the stars where inhabitants of Golarion believe true madness lies. Some believe its supposed home at the center of the material plane is proof that the primal chaos is the source of everything in existence. At his home may be found Azathoth's court, a mysterious country of unknown number of powerful lesser gods that orbit Azathoth like planets orbit a sun, singing mad songs while listening to Azathoth's gibbering. Azathoth is believed to be totally indifferent to his worshippers, the cosmos, and may not even be aware of his own existence. Despite this, the primal chaos does have cultists. These are often power seekers wanting the destructive power of Azathoth to work for them and their schemes. But Azathoth's carelessness means that it is a perilous endeavor, easily prone to backfire. Maybe this is the reason for the collapse of the Shori Empire. Azathoth was worshipped in ancient times by small groups of the Shori Empire of Gurund until the empire disintegrated. Azathoth is indirectly linked to the destruction of the flying Shori city of Olduvai during the early years of the Age of Destiny. Cultists of Azathoth were contacted to help unlock the mysteries of a recently discovered artifact known as the Shub-Niggurath stone. Upon activation, the Shub-Niggurath stone transformed nearly the entire city into heaps of undulating, rotting viscera. The worship of Azathoth is largely undocumented among humans in modern times, although some Cloaker and Neothid communities worship it. The only known temple to the primal chaos is in the ruins of that fallen city, Olduvai, in southern Gurund's shattered range.
Bokrug, also known as the Water Lizard. He is the great old one of revenge, storms, and water. His alignment is chaotic neutral. His domains include chaos, destruction, water, and weather, with subdomains of catastrophe, oceans, rage, and storms. His favored weapon is the Ransur. His holy symbol is his amphibian-like visage or a lizard with a coiled tail. He has no sacred animals. His cultists consider blue and green to be sacred.
Bokrug, the water lizard, dwells in a distant and forsaken corner of the Dimension of Dreams, in a land that was once heavily populated but is now a desolate and barren realm surrounding a nameless lake. A realm once ruled by mighty human empires, but now ruled by the hideous amphibian minions of the water lizard. Bokrug himself is a vast creature, a vaguely iguana-shaped monster with a beard of writhing tendrils and a long tail tipped with a stinger. The scales that cover his body hide long spines that Bokrug can extend or retract with near lightning speed. Bokrug spends the majority of his time slumbering far down in the depths of his submerged lair. No rivers feed the lake, nor does it drain into the sea. Yet the still, ominous waters are neither stale nor brackish, implying that they connect somewhere deep underground, and, by way of these dark, secret waterways, Bokrug has access to the lakes and rivers of the Dimension of Dreams, and his ability to plane shift allows him access to other realms as he wills. Bokrug is worshipped more out of fear than adoration, and when his original worshippers were wiped out by humans, in the Dimension of Dreams their spirits returned to exact vengeance. Now in isolated regions of dream, the water lizard is appeased through sacrifice. Bokrug's faithful lurk in the Dimension of Dreams, implanting a kernel of their beliefs within the essence of dream travelers. On waking, these dreamers are plagued by strange urges and dream prompts that lead them into Bokrug's cult. In this way, the Great Old One's cult can be found in many rural regions, bringing blessings of wealth and fine weather in exchange for blood sacrifices. Although the water lizard does not seem to care if the offerings are sentient, many cults have taken to sacrificing criminals, captives, and other unwanted humanoids. Bokrug's temple are often found on the shores of remote lakes or hidden away in large swamplands. Shrines to Bokrug are usually decorated by his holy symbol, and an image of Bokrug himself usually decorates his greatest shrines in a uncannily realistic form. The cult maintains that through these statues, Balkrug can see out and even animate from his distant lair to take sacrifices. Though humans worship him, so do bogards, lizard folk, marsh giants, and other swamp-dwelling races, particularly those that have suffered at the hands of aggressors, such as invading armies, rival tribes, or adventuring parties. Though Balkrug is chaotic neutral, almost all of his worshippers are chaotic neutral or chaotic evil. Only a rare few chaotic good worshippers of Balkrug exist, most of these being delusional heretics or apologists who seek to keep Balkrug calm, ensuring he continues to slumber. These heretics and outliers of the faith are remorselessly hunted down by his more zealous and traditional worshippers. The water lizard's followers often forge their own Ransur blades to resemble the great old one's stingered tail.
Cthulhu, also known as the Dreamer in the Deep. He is the great old one of cataclysms, dreams, and the stars. His alignment is chaotic evil. His domains include chaos, evil, madness, and the void, with subdomains being dark tapestry, insanity, nightmare, and stars. His favorite weapon is a dagger, often curved, and his symbol is a complex rune around an eye. He has no sacred animals, and his cultists consider black and blue to be sacred.
Ancient Cthulhu is the mightiest of the great old ones. He is regarded as the herald of the outer gods. Cthulhu is represented often in artwork, particularly in sculpture, painting, and poetry, for his influence is particularly strong among such sensitive and creative minds. In these eldritch works of art, he is depicted or described as having a vaguely humanoid frame, but with immense draconic wings and an octopus-shaped head. His actual form is somewhat fluid. The great old one can shift and reshape his exact countenance as he wills, allowing him to occupy a smaller space than one might expect for a creature that stands over 100 feet tall. It is fortunate indeed that Cthulhu is currently imprisoned in a distant planet within the sunken city of R'lyeh. There the great old one slumbers away the aeons in a state neither quite dead nor living, held in stasis by ancient magic and the potency of the Elder's sign. Yet at times the city rises from the sea, and the doors of his tomb open, granting Cthulhu limited mobility before he must return to his tomb. But his expansive mind reaches out to touch the sleeping minds of mortals. His dreams span the gulfs of existence and are capable of touching upon the sleeping minds of sensitive or artistic souls, inspiring them with insane visions and driving the creation of all manner of eldritch artistry. In such ways his cult spreads like a night-born virus of the dreaming mind across all worlds on which sapient life exists. Cthulhu is worshipped by various aquatic races and folk who dwell along coastlines, but also among certain decadent or fringe societies of artists, poets, and philosophers. When they form, his cults are secretive and careful to hide their allegiance to the great old one. Cthulhu's original temples are monolithic structures of a stark and cyclopean architectural style, but most of his faithful lack the resources to build such temples and instead make do with what they can, hiding away personal shrines in underground chambers or in shacks or glades in the remote wilderness. Central among his cult's beliefs is the prophecy that one day the stars will be right, and great Cthulhu shall rise from his corpse city to usher in the end times, wiping clean all worlds to make them ready for his kind. The cultists believe they might be spared this fate through proper obedience and fealty, when in truth Cthulhu is unlikely to notice the difference between those who worship him and anyone else.
Hastur, also known as the King in Yellow, or He who is not to be named. He is the great Old One of decadence, disorder, and nihilism. His alignment is chaotic evil. His domains include chaos, evil, rune, and void, with subdomains of dark tapestry, language, stars, and wards. His favorite weapon is the rapier. His holy symbol is the yellow sign. He has no sacred animal. And his cultists, of course, consider his sacred color yellow.
Hastur is the most mysterious of the Great Old Ones. In fact, the entity known as Hastur might actually be an outer god. The physical manifestation of this entity is known as the King in Yellow, and though most consider this creature, a vaguely humanoid-shaped figure draped in a yellow cloak, to be synonymous with Hastur himself, many scholars believe that the King in Yellow is nothing more than an avatar used by the true Hastur to move among the denizens of the physical world. Hastur himself is said to dwell, or be imprisoned, upon a distant world called Carcosa, on the shores of the monstrous Lake of Hali, and his power on a planet is strongest when the baleful light of Carcosa's star is visible in that planet's night sky. He prefers to manifest during this time, bringing the seeds of hideous transformation with him and turning those infected into faithful, monstrous agents. The decadent, nihilistic worshippers of Hastur have been known to plant enchantments on victims, steering them in subtle ways toward envisioning the yellow sign and putting their souls in jeopardy. Congregations of the faithful devote themselves to helping Hastur manifest his avatar, drawing forth his essence in chosen sacrifice. The unfortunate victim is then unleashed upon the world for the purpose of gathering mortals to Hastur's eldritch purposes.
Mahar, also known as the World Thunder. He is the great Old One of caverns, mountains, and volcanoes. His alignment is chaotic neutral, with domains including chaos, destruction, earth, and fire, and subdomains of ash, catastrophe, caves, and smoke. His favorite weapon is the heavy pick. His holy symbol is a shattered triangular rune. He has no sacred animals, and his faithful consider black and orange to be sacred colors.
Mahar is one of the great old ones who tried to birth itself into Golarion eons ago. Its birth failed, and the alien creature was stillborn, slumbering for uncounted ages. Its resting place is in the Mahar Massif in the Kodar Mountains, which is also the site of Zin-Shalast, capital of the ancient Thessalonian nation of Salast, and former resting place of the rune lord Karzug. Mahar's cultists believe that a time will come when earthquakes and volcanic eruptions will herald his birth and transform the world into an endless conflagration. Worshippers congregate near volcanic areas and seismically active rifts, aiming to spark geological events. Through magic and living sacrifice, they hope to force open the correct vent and awaken Mahar. Although agents of elemental destruction, the faithful are in fierce competition with the followers of Rovagug, who they see as brutish and myopic. In 4708 AR, under orders from an unknown patron from Kadath, several denizens of Ling sojourned to the material plane in an attempt to awaken Mahar using a time-distorting artifact called the Leng Device. Their plans were thwarted by the same group of adventurers that killed Karzug. Had Mahar awakened, it would have spelled doom for Golarion.
Nyarlathotep, also known as the Crawling Chaos, the Haunter of the Dark, and the Black Pharaoh. He is the outer god of conspiracies, dangerous secrets, and forbidden magic. His alignment is chaotic evil. His domains include chaos, evil, knowledge, magic, trickery, and darkness, with subdomains of arcane, divine, memory, thought, deception, thievery, loss, and night. As the Black Pharaoh, his favorite weapon is the quarterstaff. As the Haunter of the Dark, his favorite weapon is the dagger. His symbol as the Black Pharaoh is an inverted ankh. As the Haunter in the Dark, it is a circle with wing-like bat arms. As the Black Pharaoh, his sacred animal is the panther, and as the Haunter of the Dark, it is the bat. In the aspect of the Black Pharaoh, his favorite colors are black and red, but while in the aspect of the Haunter of the Dark, they are black and gold.
Nyarlathotep, an outer god of the Dark Tapestry, takes on thousands of forms, each having its own cult, symbol, and favored weapon. The god's most notorious forms on Golarion are known as the humanoid Black Pharaoh and the Haunter of the Dark, a bat-like entity with a tri-lobed burning eye. Worshippers of Nyarlathotep believe he is the outer god who ties together the worship of the Great Old Ones. They also believe that he will open the doors to the uncaring light of the stars. Common worshippers are assassins, poisoners, and demagogues who seek to bring about the deaths of kings and reformers, moving the world towards chaos. His followers tend to disfigure their faces beyond repair and then wear magical visages while in public.
Orgrish, the Faceless God. He is the Great Old One of alchemy, caverns, and hunger. His alignment is chaotic evil. His domains include chaos, earth, evil, and water, with subdomains of caves, entropy, fear, and ice. His favorite weapon is the spear. His symbol is a maw surrounding a rune. He has no sacred animals, and his cultists consider black and blue to be sacred.
Obscure even to scholars of the old cults, Faceless Orgrish is a god of hunger. Its primary worshippers are the strange Chardas of the land of black blood, deep in the Darklands. Yet small cults of the Faceless god persist in tiny quarters of the world above. The Charda view this inscrutable being as an endlessly hungry entity that requires constant sacrifices of food to placate. They have an unusual immunity to the dangerous substance known as black blood, which in their mythology is the blood of Orgrish's mother spilled when their god ate his way out of her womb. There are a number of relics of Orgrish in the land of black blood, one of the vaults in the Darkland regions of Orv. The faceless idol of the hungering god is considered by the Charda to be a depiction of Orgrish. The ancient city of Orgreshta, not far from the idol, also has numerous icons of the god.
Shub-Niggurath, also known as the black goat of the woods with 1,000 young. She is the outer god of fertility, forests, and monsters. Her alignment is chaotic evil. Her domains include animal, chaos, evil, plant, and void, with subdomains of dark tapestry, decay, feather, fur, growth, and stars. Her favorite weapon is the dagger. Her symbol consists of 3 goat heads attached at the neck with horns pointed outward to form a circular shape. She has no sacred animal. Her followers consider green and white to be her sacred colors.
Shub-Niggurath, the outer god of fertility, resides in what is known as the Dark Tapestry, but she is able to materialize quite readily on any planet in the material plane, especially if locals are dabbling with her spawn. Shub-Niggurath is a fecund goddess and has mated with probably most of the gods of the Dark Tapestry, and their offspring tend to be extremely powerful. Countless twisted races and foul offspring claim parentage from the grossly fertile goddess. Some of her most successful spawn are termed Dark Young of Shub-Niggurath, which start out as Moit of Shub-Niggurath. The black goat of the woods with 1,000 young has a relatively strong following within the Inner Sea region compared to the other gods of her pantheon, usually localized in rural areas, especially forests, jungles, or swamps. The largest cult following is around Lake Incarthan. Outside of Golarion, the Mygo population mostly worship Shub-Niggurath. Her faithful attempt to mate with creatures of incompatible physiologies as part of their worship. Shub-Niggurath appears as an alien, sanity-shaking immense blob of living tissue and a mist, with tentacles, hooves, eyes, fanged mouths, and other deformities protruding from every surface.
Zamindor, also known as the Inmost Blot and the Starseed. It is the Great Old One of decay, parasites, and transformation. Its alignment is neutral evil. Its domains include death, evil, plant, and trickery, with subdomains of decay, deception, murder, and undead. Its favorite weapon is the spear. Its holy symbol is a sphere of tendrils. It has no sacred animal, and its cultists consider its sacred colors to be black and dark green.
Zamindor, also referred to as the Inmost Blot or the Starseed, is a great old one which once had the form of a broken reptilian skeleton with pronounced growths of fungoid tendrils. In this form it infested many worlds, but after some calamity for Zamindor, its form changed to be just a single blot of its fungoid intelligence that was imprisoned within a comet. This comet collided with Golarion after its trajectory was altered at the time of Earthfall. The exact whereabouts of Zamindor is unknown, though his cult maintains the comet now lies beneath a remote lake. The Inmost Blot has begun to infect Golarion from his watery resting place, turning victims into undead creatures powered by a combination of necromancy and Zamindor's fungal essence. His fungoid infestations thread through the world and prove impossible to eradicate. Druids and other tenders of the land often work to uncover and destroy the Inmost Blot's cults before they can encourage the growth of their dark master.
Yog-Sothoth, also known as the Lurker at the Threshold, and the Key and the Gate. It is the outer god of gates, space, and time. Its alignment is chaotic neutral. Its domains include chaos, darkness, knowledge, travel, and void, with subdomains of dark tapestry, exploration, memory, night, stars, and thought. Its favorite weapon is the dagger. Its holy symbol is a black spiral. It has no sacred animals or sacred colors.
The outer god Yog-Sothoth is said to be coterminous with all of space and time, and therefore common beliefs among the members of the old cults are that Yog-Sothoth is either the Dark Tapestry itself, a sapient embodiment of the material plane, some kind of living, intelligent, neighboring, transitive plane coterminous with our own, or some other aspect of reality apart from our own material plane. Yog-Sothoth's appearance is described as a congruencies of iridescent spheres, a conglomeration of glowing balls of various sizes and colors. Worshippers of Yog-Sothoth tend to be isolated and often insane arcane spellcasters, such as alchemists, sorcerers, and wizards searching for hidden eldritch secrets and hoping that Yog-Sothoth will reveal these mysteries to them in exchange for their worship. Other common worshippers are cults comprised almost exclusively of witches. Ultimately, Yog-Sothoth cares little for their worship, as it has no real need of them except for one purpose: mortal worshippers who will either directly summon it into Golarian's realm of existence themselves, or who will mate with it to produce a spawn of Yog-Sothoth, or other aberrant offspring who will summon its father instead. Once summoned to Golarion, or any other world for that matter, Yog-Sothoth will be free to ravage the surrounding area and consume any and all life forms it can reach, corrupting the very space and time it touches with its foul and unnatural presence. Some members of the old cults believe that when the time comes and Yog-Sothoth is finally successfully summoned to Golarion, it will be the ultimate sign that the stars are right, and bring about the end times. For it is written,
Yog-Sothoth knows the gate. Yog-Sothoth is the gate. Yog-Sothoth is the key and guardian of the gate. Past, present, future, all are one in Yog-Sothoth. He knows where the old ones broke through of old, and where they shall break through again.
A quote from Nyarlathotep, the ancient prophet and founder of the old cults. Yog-Sothoth's entrance into Golarian space-time will come about when finally the stars are right for this world, and its presence will begin the reawakening of the imprisoned and sleeping dead great old ones, and their return to power. Their reemergence will sweep away the last vestiges of the world's sane mortal races, ushering in an age of darkness, madness, aberration, and utter insane evil, marking the time for Nyarlathotep to gleefully fulfill his final goal and mission, to call upon the rest of the outer gods to turn their collective gaze upon Golarion, which would then be left a shattered world, where all sanity and morality have been cast aside, and all creatures great and small are as the great old ones themselves, dancing and singing and raging and murdering in an ecstasy of chaos and evil. If and when this comes to pass, it is said that not even the collective power of all the gods of Golarion would have any chance of stopping it. Hello everyone. This was a really fun one, huh? I hope no one lost their sanity during the video. If you did, leave a comment so we can know. Something that I'm due to mention is that Rovagug is said to have ties with the outer gods and the Qipputh. Information from Beyond the Dimension Door states the following. Although it is unknown exactly what Rovagug is or where he originated from, several theories have long been debated by scholars and theologians. One popular theory is that he is a weaker member of the dreaded outer gods, bent on destruction and entropy. Another hypothesis, supported by some blasphemous texts, whisper that Rovagug is instead the mightiest of the alien Qipputh race. This latter theory holds some validity when one considers the bizarre and alien appearance of the rough beast. Just thought I'd throw that in there for my fellow lore buffs and viewers who have brought it to my attention in the past. I personally find it interesting that the creators of the Pathfinder setting actually put in deities that are stronger than their core 20. What are your thoughts on this? Could Azathoth take on a core 20 and make it out unscathed? I will let you guys discuss that below. Up next we'll be covering some lost faiths from Golarion's past. Should be quite interesting. For now though, good night, dear listeners. Good night. Just kidding, I won't steal Cecil's sign-off. I might have to deal with station's management. Like, comment, share, subscribe. If you have a specific question for me, make sure to tag me by typing +the in the body of your comment. And, as always, have a great day. God bless, and enjoy.
This content was made possible by travelers and viewers like you. Thank you.